In our last lab, our DHCP server worked perfectly. We plugged in a PC and it instantly got its IP address from the DHCP server. But now I've expanded the network and added routers. In this topology, we already have our network that I had configured on the right-hand side with our DHCP server and our two little PCs that are getting their IP addresses from the DHCP server. I've added this router, a switch, and two more PCs on the left-hand side. And I've configured all of the routing for this network. So on this PC, I have it already configured with an IP address in the 192.168.20.0 network. And I did that so we can just test connectivity. You can see here from my previous ping when I was setting up my network, I pinged the 192.168.10.10 device, which is our DHCP server. And indeed, I have connectivity to that. So our routing is working throughout the network. The first thing we need to do on our network is configure our DHCP server with our new scope, our new network scope. We're going to create a new server pool called, we'll call it LAN. Well, we'll call it LAN 2 because this is really our second LAN. And we're going to say it's 192.168.20. 20.1 is our default gateway. And we don't have a DNS server. We're going to start at 100, just like we did on the other network. And we're going to hand out 50 addresses, possibly. We don't have 50 devices, but we'll hand out 50 addresses. And we'll add that. But if we take a look here on this PC, and I go to ipconfig, and I switch it to DHCP, it's going to fail. So what is our problem? Our problem is that when the PC here requests its IPv4 address from the DHCP server, it sends out a DHCP discover message, which is a broadcast message. And when that broadcast message gets to the router interface, it's dropped. You can think of it like the router shouting across the network, I need a DHCP server. And then the router, it's like a closed door. And it just says, I don't do broadcast messages. Not going to happen. So the message stops there. What's the solution? We give the router an IP helper command. Specifically, an IP helper address command that specifies where the DHCP server is. This command acts like a receptionist would. So the PC is still shouting, where's my DHCP server? But the helper command takes that information and then says, oh, I'll forward your request to the DHCP server. Let's fix this router here on the left so that it will forward the DHCP discover message. Well, it changes it to a Unicast message from a broadcast message, but it's going to forward it to the DHCP server, and then we'll be able to get an IP address. We're going to go onto our router here on the left, and we want to go and move this to the side a little bit. This is G00, and we want to go directly to G00 interface because that's our default gateway for this network. And that's where the broadcast messages are going to be delivered to. So enable conft interface G00 IP helper, and there's a dash, ADDRESS address. And then we give it the IP address of the DHCP server, which is, what is it? It's 192.168.10.10. All right, now that we've put our IP helper address on our router, let's see if we can get our IPv4 address and our default gateway from the DHCP server that's all the way over there on the 192.168.10.0 network. We go here and select DHCP, and there we go, 192.168.20.101. Let's go ahead and do that up here on this PC as well. Might as well just change it over to DHCP. There we go, 102. All right, fantastic. So we're able to see that we received an IPv4 address through the DHCP server, and we're on the pool. We're at 102 here, and our default gateway and the subnet mask have been given to us from the DHCP server. Even though the DHCP server is on a different network, the IP helper address command that we put on our router, well, it worked like an administrative assistant. It switched that DHCP discover message from a broadcast into a unicast, and it sent it on its way to the DHCP server and allowed us to get our addresses. If you've tried to follow along with me, then nice work getting through this lab. If you've just been watching, I hope you're able to try this lab on your own. If you learned something new today about broadcast networks, IP helper addresses, or networking in general, then we're winning. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.